Thank you for joining us for the National Health Service Corps Scholarship Program Welcome webinar. I'd like to highlight a couple housekeeping items for you on Microsoft Teams. The features available to you can be found at the top of your screen. If you have any questions during today's presentation, please use the Q&A pod located at the top of the screen, and please select the drop-down to ask a question. Once again, all this is located at the top of the screen. Please note, not all questions will be answered in the order they received, but we'll get to the questions after the presentation today. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope that you find this webinar incredibly helpful. And now I'd like to turn the presentation over to Rose Ann Memon. Rose?
Thank you, Carl. Good afternoon and welcome to the National Health Service Corps New Scholar Welcome webinar. My name is Rose Memon and I'm a section chief with the NHSC Scholarship Branch, and I'm joined today by Brian Rothbard, a management analyst also with the branch. Thank you all for joining us today. As Carl mentioned, a question and answer session will be held at the end of the presentation, and we kindly ask you to hold all questions until the end. During this session, we will provide an overview of the National Health Service Corps, or otherwise known as NHSC Scholarship Program. We will also cover information such as in-school requirements, postgraduate training, transitioning into service, and other resources to help you all fulfill your service commitment. On behalf of the National Health Service Corps, Brian and I want to congratulate all of you on your award. As you are aware, the NHSC scholarship is highly competitive, and we welcomed 253 new scholarship program awardees this year. The National Health Service Corps is a national public health program committed to building healthy communities by supporting qualified healthcare providers who are dedicated to working in areas of the United States with limited access to healthcare. The Bureau of Health Workforce, also known as BHW, administers the National Health Service Corps. BHW is committed to strengthening the health workforce and connecting skilled healthcare providers to communities in need. BHW offers scholarships and loan repayment to students and clinicians. In addition, BHW also awards grants to organizations such as schools, hospitals, and health centers to improve health workforce training. The impact of the NHSC is significant. We are happy to report that there are currently more than 17,000 NHSC clinicians providing care to almost 18 million people in the United States. In addition, many NHSC members continue to serve in areas of greatest need after completing their service obligation. The NHSC Scholarship Program addresses public health needs in areas where clinician supply is limited by incentivizing clinician services in health professional shortage areas. The NHSC is an integral part of helping our nation's communities overcome obstacles to quality primary health care. As a scholar, the NHSC provides support to you through various stages of the program, starting from the in-school phase through completion of degree or postgraduate training, and finally, site search and service. We'll go over these stages in more detail in the coming slides. As mentioned, we are so excited to have you as part of this program. As a scholar, you will join thousands of current and former NHSC clinicians who provide primary healthcare services to communities in need. The NHSC program provides financial support for full-time enrollment in an eligible primary healthcare profession degree training program for up to 4 school years. To help you get the most out of the experience, let's talk about the program requirements, details of your award, and how we can support you. One of our goals is to provide you with an opportunity where you can grow, learn, and feel supported every step of the way. To help make that happen, here's what we ask and what you can count on from us. While in the program, you are required to maintain full-time enrollment and good academic status. You must complete an electronic in-school verification form, which must be verified by your school each fall, winter, spring, and summer term. You also must provide your most recent unofficial transcript. Even if your school does not have a summer or winter term, you are still required to submit the corresponding in-school verification indicating you do not have an academic term. This will allow NHSC to be certain all tuition and fee invoices have been processed and your record is up to date every term. You must also immediately notify us when there are changes in your enrollment status, as well as changes to your personal or financial information. You can do so by reaching out to us or your assigned scholarship branch analyst by submitting an inquiry through the My BHW portal, which will be discussed in later slides. We also ask that you respond to NHSC emails and/or phone calls in a timely manner. Now let's review your reward. The NHSC scholarship program will pay tuition and eligible fees directly to your educational institution. Your educational institution must submit an invoice to the NHSC program for payment of tuition and eligible fees for each term. Any eligible fees on the invoice that are included in other reasonable costs will not be approved for payment to the educational institution and will be paid directly to you. You will receive stipend payments for July through October in your bank account in a lump sum payment no later than the first week of November. This lump sum payment will also include the other reasonable cost payment. After the lump sum payment, stipend payments are issued at the end of each month directly to your bank account. The monthly stipend payment is subject to federal taxes. In return for financial support, you agree to provide 1 year of full-time service obligation at an NHSC-approved site for each year of support received, with a minimum service obligation of 2 years. There is a maximum of 4 years of NHSC scholarship support. So how exactly is the scholarship amount calculated? Each year, participant schools submit an estimated tuition and fee schedule for the upcoming school years to the NHSC scholarship program via the data collection worksheet. The scholarship award amount for each scholar is calculated based on several factors, including the number of years of funding requested, the school's tuition and fees for each of those years, as well as the amount of other reasonable costs indicated by the school. The amount varies by program and year in school. Once the initial award or contract is complete, and if you have remaining years of study before graduation, you can request additional years of scholarship support if you are eligible and have not already received the maximum 4 years of NHSC support. You should take your award letter and the guidelines for your school document to the financial aid office to inform them that you are a scholar in the NHSC scholarship program. Scholarship branch analysts will provide your school point of contact with a third-party billing authorization letter along with the guidelines for your school document. Please note that the guidelines for your school document provides instructions to the school on how to bill the NHSC and ensure the timely processing for your school's invoices. All educational institutions are required to submit an invoice on your behalf to the NHSC scholarship program for payment for each semester or quarter. Only tuition invoices that come directly from your school are eligible for payment. The NHSC then reviews your in-school verification, unofficial transcript, and tuition invoice and submits a payment directly to your educational institution. You must complete each term's in-school verification and be in eligible status for that term's invoice to be paid. Delays in completing your in-school verification can result in delays in tuition payment. The NHSC Scholarship Program contract begins July 1st and ends June 30th. Therefore, your 2025 award is retroactive to July 1st, 2025. If you were enrolled in classes for your degree program during the month of July, your school can invoice the NHSC for that summer term. If you took out loans to pay for your summer and fall 2025 tuition, please have your school invoice the NHSC to cover the tuition costs covered by these loans or other funding sources. You can then work with your school to get the loans returned to the source. Please note, after the fall 2025 semester, the NHSC scholarship program will not pay tuition costs covered by any student loans. Here are some guidelines on what you should do if you have received full or partial support from other funding sources. You can choose from the following 3 options. 1. If tuition and fees for the school year have been paid for by another source of financial aid, the school should return or cancel payments made by the other funding source and submit an invoice to the NHSC for payment. Or 2, you can continue the other source of funding and have the school submit to the NHSC an itemized invoice showing the remaining tuition balance. And lastly, 3, if other sources of financial aid have been used to pay tuition and fees, in full and are not returned or canceled, the school will be instructed not to submit an invoice to the NHSC for costs that have already been covered. The NHSC cannot provide funds for tuition and fees paid for by other sources. As your award is retroactive to July 2025, you will receive a lump sum of 4 months of stipend payments for July through October, plus the annual other reasonable cost payment. Please note the other reasonable cost payment varies depending on program and year in school and is not the same for all participants. This first payment will be directly deposited into your checking account or on file no later than the first week of November. We will discuss the other reasonable cost payment more in the next slide. What are other reasonable costs? These are an annual payment provided to you, and these are dependent on your discipline, you're in school, and the school's costs that each school provides annually to the NHSC. Other reasonable costs are paid directly to you to assist in the payment of the following education-related expenses not covered under tuition and eligible fees, including books, computer rental or purchases, instruments, travel expenses, uniforms, or insurance. Your other reasonable costs will be paid within the first 4 months of stipend payment through direct deposit, again, no later than the first week of November. Please, as a reminder, there is no guarantee that all educational related costs will be fully paid by the NHSC. Additionally, other reasonable costs are non-negotiable. During the 2025-2026 school year, you receive a monthly stipend payment of $1,631 before federal taxes to assist with living expenses. You will receive stipend payments for July through October in your bank account and a lump sum payment no later than the first week of November. After the lump sum payment, stipend payments are issued at the end of each month directly to your bank account. Please notify us immediately if your banking institution information has changed. The NHSC scholarship program cannot make payments to you if you are not enrolled, are not attending classes on a full-time basis, or do not have a current contract in effect. Now let's talk about other forms of scholarship benefits you may receive as an NHSC scholar to help fulfill your service commitment. When preparing for graduation, you may be eligible for a travel allotment of up to $1,200 to conduct all on-site interviews, which covers transportation, hotel, meals, and incidentals. You must travel to NHSC-approved sites that meet the health professional shortage area score requirement. Note, we cannot reimburse you for any travel expenses within 50 miles of your current residence. You must pay any costs outside of the authorized travel allotment guidelines. If the job you take requires you to relocate, we also offer financial assistance to help you relocate. Also, you will have a dedicated network of support throughout your career. I will now turn the presentation over to my colleague, Brian Rothbard, who will discuss learning beyond graduation and the support we provide.
Thank you, Rose. During the last year in your program of study, you may begin to pursue postgraduate training opportunities, also known as PGT, for your specialty. After completing your studies, postgraduate training marks the next exciting phase of your professional journey. Whether you're entering a residency, pursuing a fellowship, or engaging in specialized postgraduate training programs, this stage is designed to refine your skills, deepen your knowledge, and prepare you for leadership in your field, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Let's dive into how you'll transition from school. Depending on your discipline, you have the opportunity to postpone your service obligation to complete postgraduate training opportunities, while others are required to complete postgraduate training in an accredited primary care training program. Scholars must start postgraduate training after graduation on or around July 1st. The NHSC will review each postgraduate training request and approve eligible primary care PGT requests consistent with the needs of the NHSC. Physicians are required to complete postgraduate training in an accredited primary care program, while dentists, advanced practice registered nurses, and physician assistants are not required but may request to postpone your period of obligated service to complete NHSC-approved postgraduate training. Eligible postgraduate training programs vary by discipline, which will be discussed shortly. Please note, scholars can only pursue postgraduate training the NHSC has officially approved and may not make any changes to the type or length of postgraduate training without prior approval from the NHSC. This slide shows the approved postgraduate training programs physicians can take based on your specialty and shows the number of years of training the NHSC will approve for each program. Completion of one of these primary care residency training programs is mandatory for all physicians of allopathic and osteopathic disciplines. Dentistry students should have the option to pursue the residency training program or fellowship, while postgraduate training is not required for dentists, it is highly encouraged. This slide shows approved dentistry PGTs and the number of years of training the NHSC will approve. Dentists who begin a service obligation immediately after graduating from dental school cannot later decide to pursue a postgraduate training program after service has started. So please consider carefully in your final year of school if you'd like to pursue PGT. Physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and certified nurse midwives are also highly encouraged but not required to pursue postgraduate training. The NHSC may approve a one-year postgraduate training program and a primary care specialty for these disciplines. There are special cases where the scholar may be invited to serve as a chief resident or pursue further training in a fellowship. During your final year of training, you have two options. Option 1, you can complete the training program and prepare to begin your service commitment at an NHSC approved site. Option 2, you can submit a notice of intent to the NHSC by February 1st to pursue a chief residency or a fellowship to postpone your service commitment. The total time postgraduate training, including a chief residency or fellowship, cannot exceed 5 years. Now let's discuss NHSC approved sites and your transition to service. You must find employment at an NHSC approved site with a health professional shortage area HPSA score. We will dive into what a HPSA score is in the next slide. Additionally, the NHSC provides support to underserved communities nationwide, and when accepting NHSC SP funds, you agree to serve in a HPSA approved by the Secretary without geographic limitation. This may require you to relocate in order to fulfill your NHSC SP obligation. When transitioning into service, you must obtain employment at an NHSC approved site with a health professional shortage score, otherwise known as a HPSA. So what is a HPSA? A HPSA is a score calculated by the federal government to indicate communities with the greatest need for providers. The minimum HPSA score for scholars is published every year. Scholars must find an NHSC approved site that meets the required HPSA score for your discipline. Once you begin your job search, there are important factors that you need to keep in mind when deciding where can you work. On this slide is a list of site types where you can fulfill your service obligation. Some examples are federally qualified health centers, FQHC for short, and FQHC lookalikes, Indian Health Service facilities, and many more as you can see listed here. Once you have accepted a position and at an NHSC approved site and begin working to fulfill your service commitment, you will be required to verify your employment status and time spent away from the practice every 6 months. When calculating your time away from the site during each 6-month period, this should include time away for sick leave, vacation, holidays, or any other period of leave. Participants are allowed 35 days away from the service site during each 12-month service year. NHSC SP participants fulfilling the service obligation in full-time clinical practice must work a minimum of 40 hours a week for a minimum of 45 weeks each service year. In some instances, some of you will be spending a portion of your work week on administrative duties, telemedicine, and inpatient follow-up care. There are limits on the amount of time per week allowed on these duties, and requirements vary by discipline, so please be sure to review the application and program guidance for additional clarification. The NHSC prepares you for service about 1 year from your graduation date or during your last year of postgraduate training. During this year, you will be assigned the Division of Regional Operations, or DRO. The Division of Regional Operations staff will coach you through the milestones and answer your questions about any process or connect you with the right person, provide you with the information and assistance to help you in your site search during using the Health Workforce Connector to find the right site, verify if a site meets your HPSA score requirement. Let's now discuss some helpful resources by the NHSC. Please take some time to visit HRSA on the YouTube channel for some short videos that may serve as a resource for you. There are many member stories from participants of the different NHSC programs which represent a variety of clinical disciplines. These member stories videos can help you better understand what to expect and feature some of the NHSC sites where you might serve. As you are preparing for your first clinical job, you'll want to use our Health Workforce Connector, a website that helps link NHSC awardees with job openings at thousands of approved NHSC sites and facilities. Job seekers can use the connector, easily search for, and find eligible matches for specific disciplines, HPSA scores, and locations. The Health Workforce Connector is like LinkedIn for NHSC awardees, and it's available to any clinician regardless of their NHSC program affiliation. Another resource that is made available to participants is the opportunity to participate in virtual job fairs. Virtual job fairs allow NHSC-approved sites to promote job opportunities to primary care clinicians. Some of the benefits of virtual job fairs include the ability to connect with sites in your geographic areas of interest without incurring travel costs because all aspects are hosted in a virtual environment. You can also learn about jobs at sites you may never have considered prior. Now that you are an NHSC Scholar Program participant, you're required to use the MyBHW portal for all your communication needs. The portal can be accessed via the link programportal.hrsa.gov. The portal can be used to perform functions such as ask a question, view your program status, view your financial history of stipends and other reasonable cost payments, view and update your contact information, submit a postgraduate training verification form to the first service start date, request to receive your electronic W-2. On this slide is a listing of our NHSC team, which includes our division director, deputy director, branch chief, section chiefs, and team. While you are in school, you'll be assigned an analyst who will guide and assist you throughout your academic and postgraduate training. Your analyst is your point of contact and can be reached via your MyBHW portal account and by phone or email for assistance with stipend payments, other reasonable costs, tuition invoices and payments, academic performance, customer service, postgraduate training. In addition, while in school, the analyst will be the direct contact with your school's point of contact for matters relating to tuition invoices, processing, and payments, data collection worksheets, and other customer service needs. First, make sure that your school has submitted an invoice for your tuition and fees. In your document section of your MyBHW portal account, you may view the guidelines for your school, which is provided to your school on how to invoice the NHSC. Feel free to share this information with your school to ensure that invoices are submitted correctly. As you see here on this slide, we have a list of our support resources, including our customer care center, websites for our programs, virtual job fair, and the Health Workforce Connector. Be sure to visit us through our NHSC social media channels as well. Our programs accept applications annually, so the dates change each year. Stay in the loop. Use your phone to scan this QR code and subscribe to our email updates. You'll get notified the moment applications open. I'll pause here so you have time to scan. The National Health Service Corps is one of several programs administered by HRSA. HRSA is on 5 social media platforms. We encourage you to follow along and share our content on X, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram to stay up to date on the latest HRSA news. Our account handle is at HRSA.gov, and you can visit our YouTube page at HRSATube to learn more. Additionally, we will encourage you to sign up for HRSA press releases and for HRSA's e-news, a monthly email of comprehensive HRSA news. You can visit our website, www.hrsa.gov, for more detailed information about all of our programs. Thank you for joining us for the NHSC New Scholar Welcome webinar. We hope you found this presentation helpful. NHSC staff are standing by to answer your questions. To submit a question, click on the Q&A button at the top of your screen and type in your question. Staff will be answering questions in writing text through the Q&A feature. There will be no audio for this portion of the presentation. We will be answering as many questions as possible until 4 p.m. Eastern Time.